Miss Ann. Okay, everybody, good afternoon. We're right here on WCRS having a good time. We are live on Facebook this afternoon. We have the YMCA gals here. We're live on the radio check, live on Facebook. Let's get started. How is everybody doing today? How is Jan today?
Jan is wonderful. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes, it is. And so what have you been doing today, Jan?
Wow, that's a deep question.
You need to get a little closer to that mic.
We could spend the entire hour talking about what I've done today, but we won't. We will digress. Typically just coming back from vacation at Hilton Head, so just playing catch up, trying to get things back on track.
Okay. And Sunny, how are you today?
I'm good.
Sharissa's not here, right?
Sharissa is not here.
What happened to Sharissa?
Well, we really can't discuss that.
Okay. All right. Well, we have two of the Y girls here, and that's what is a good thing. So let's start talking here. I think we need to use Sunny's mic there. It doesn't appear to me like your mic is working, so let's just slide that mic back and forth. How the Y has been busy. It's April Fool's Day. Is there any fool's joke we're going to play on people today?
I'm trying not to do any April Fool's jokes. I just want to keep everything level and just running smoothly.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. Let's get started then and talk about a few of the things that are happening. Are you doing any new memberships drives for this month?
As a matter of fact, we are, Ann. Yes, we have new members. I can't talk. I'm just tongue-tied. Yes, new members will get to draw an Easter egg and receive a discount on either their joiner's fee or the first month of their membership fee. So that's kind of exciting. You never know quite exactly what you're going to get when you pull that egg out, but there'll be some kind of a discount for that person.
What's the biggest discount you can get?
I believe 30%.
Wow, that's pretty huge. That's
pretty huge. I thought so too.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you're doing on the membership drive?
Well, there's one more thing, and I'll let Sunny share that piece.
So for our current members, the week of Easter, we're going to host an Easter egg hunt that our members can participate in throughout the facility to earn a little surprise, which I'm going to keep a surprise so that way they will participate and have some fun.
So you're not going to tell us what you're going to do?
It's a surprise. You just got to hunt for the Easter egg.
Oh, okay. Well, where are the Easter eggs going to be?
They will be all throughout the facility.
Oh, okay. So this is an indoor Easter egg hunt.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, well, that sounds like fun. And is this just for adults or for children, or what's the deal?
It will be for all the members. So if a kid finds an egg, they get a surprise.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, that sounds pretty cool. One of the things I was thinking about is we talk about, and your ads all say, self-care is the new health care. And I really wondered if people understood what that meant.
So that's a great question, Ann. When I sat down and kind of came up with the slogan, and then my team agreed with me that this needed to be part of our main slogan for the year. Self-care is the new health care. What does that actually mean? It means that each individual person is responsible for their own health care, health maintenance. Everything starts with us. Each individual, we control our own health and how we benefit or not from it. And so, we want people to understand that going forward, you have to be your own advocate for your health, that it matters. And a great place to start that is with the YMCA.
Because
self-care is the new health care. But besides that, it's a great starting point where we can help you on your fitness journey, to be a better version of yourself so that you going forward can also ascertain a better quality of life.
Well, I think that is so true, and I think you've got a great amount of programs that are specifically for that, whether it's blood pressure, the Live Strong. I mean, so many of the programs help people either get back to where they need to get or get started on a health journey.
And that's very true. I mean, we have several medical programming. So, of course, we have the pre-diabetic, we have Live Strong, excuse me, which is for cancer. We have the Parkinson's program. We have high blood pressure, and we are in the works, although this will take us a while, so it won't actually be happening until 2026, but we are looking back into healthy weight in your child. So that will be our fifth. We also are tied in with the bariatric physician here in town. So that'll give us 6 medical programs in order for our community to fall back on us to help them have a happier, healthier lifestyle.
And not only that, I think, I was amazed at how many programs the Y actually has out there. I mean, if you like a spin class, a dance class, a whatever type of class, plus all these programs, yoga. I mean, my goodness, if you can't find something at the Y, I don't think it exists.
Well, that's true. And I did leave one program off. That's shame on me. But our aquatics director oversees pain management. So they're sent over from the pain management physicians to do a form of water aerobics to help them. So we really are all encompassing, and we're very fortunate that we're partnered with South Regional, and they've been very supportive in all of our medical programming. So thank you to Self for helping us be the best version we can be.
Absolutely. You speak about aquatics and where else can you go and learn to swim in Greenwood? I mean, yes, there are some open pools, but as far as a healthcare facility, where can you do that at?
To my knowledge, nowhere.
Right.
I mean, we have the trained staff, whether you're a child or adult, that can be something that you can have a goal towards, but our team can make that happen for you.
And I am going to do a special plug out there for at the water quality and the air quality. It does not smell like chlorine over there. You guys went out and spent a lot of money to put in whatever scrubbers or whatever, so it just smells fresh and clean.
It does, and that's the the beauty that we are always trying to update. Sometimes we have to save our pennies to make things happen. But outside of that, Anne is absolutely correct. It does not smell chlorine-y in any sense of the word. It's a very comfortable, clean, breathing atmosphere at this point. Thank you, Brian Harlan, for helping make that happen. That would be our CEO.
Right, exactly. So, one of the programs that's getting a lot of interest, I think, is the Parkinson's program, Jan, that you have over there.
And it is. It's starting to kind of shake loose. April is Parkinson's Awareness Month. So this whole
And we're not
month,
fooling about that today.
No, that is no joke. No joke whatsoever.
Right.
But, we've been here for 4 years. So the 18th of this month will be our 4-year anniversary. So we are excited about that.
But what is Parkinson's?
What is Parkinson's? Great question. It is a chronic and progressive neurological disorder, that is a tongue twister, that affects the movements and other bodily functions. Some of the causes of Parkinson's, we'll just kind of say causes in general. The exact cause of Parkinson's really is unknown, but it is believed that it is a combination of genetic and environmental factors. So some of the risk factors could be age, family history, and then exposure to certain toxins. So, I'm so sorry. We have someone in our Parkinson's program that he was in service and he was stationed at Camp Lejeune. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard the commercials about Camp Lejeune. He has Parkinson's because of that, so that is an environmental effect for him. Other people, it's genetic.
Mm-hmm. Or a combination.
or a combination of both. There's more. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I don't have my stats here on how many people. Let's see if I can find it really quick. I can't. It's not in my thread. I was going to say how many people actually have Parkinson's, just a roundabout number, but I don't actually have that number on me right now. But it's a lot. And I feel that there's a lot of people within the Greenwood area, the greater Greenwood area, that I call it, they're out in the gray fringes, that they have Parkinson's, but they don't understand what to do with it. And we're the people that are going to help you. We want you to know that we have a program in place that can help make a difference in your life.
So what does Rocksteady Boxing, and how did that start as a program?
Rocksteady Boxing started in Indiana, and it was a gentleman by the name of Scott Newman, who was an assistant district attorney in Indianapolis. He was diagnosed at 39 years of age,
which was young, wasn't
very young, and they call that early onset Parkinson's. It was very debilitating for him. He ended up having to retire early from his position. He was devastated, and he had a friend who was a retired Golden Glove boxer, and he said, well, I'm going to teach you how to box. And of course Scott laughed and said, and what is that going to do for me? And of course neither of them had the answer, but he said, what else are you going to do with your time? So he started teaching Scott how to box, and all of a sudden, over the course of many months, Scott's disabilities started to regress. And they kind of looked at each other and said, didn't expect this to happen, but it did. And, I think we've hit on something. So they got a little teeny tiny gym and started advertising for people with early onset Parkinson's. But as the word spread, everybody who had Parkinson's, it didn't matter whether it was at an early age or much later in life, they were like, well, if it works for you, it should work for us. Hence, Rocksteady Boxing was formed, an affiliate business was formed. That was in 2012, and they've been in existence ever since. There are over 800 affiliates nationwide for Rocksteady Boxing right now. So, and over 1,700 trainers that are trained to do this program.
That's huge. That's huge. And I mean, so it must have an effect. Now, what do you see as someone, because I know you work with the Rocksteady Boxing.
I do.
What do you see with clients?
The beauty of it, and we call it the magic. There's a lot of times when people will start and will kind of look at each other and say, is this really working? But, given 60 days, in 60 days, you can see an improvement in yourself. You can see an improvement in how you walk, how your motor skills work, your speech pattern. Those are huge. Just that alone can give you quality of life. I always tell people I wish that we could cure you and that I could sell every bit of this equipment. But until that point comes, what we offer is hope. There's always hope in our corner. Being boxing based, if you look at all the different things that a boxer has to do, so you look at a boxer and he has to do balance, hand-eye coordination, speed of movement, agility, muscle power, mental focus, and then lastly, rhythm. That's what a boxer has to learn to do his trade. These are all the problems that someone with Parkinson's has. So why not put that together into a program and let somebody just learn a whole new skill set that will help to slow that progression? And that's where the beauty is, the magic happens.
Well, and I think also it has to be good for getting the aggression out, for being pissed off that you have this horrible disease.
And that is true. I mean, that is very true. I mean, it's a few things, you'll see different things happen. So one, yes, you can be angry, and you should be angry at Parkinson's because there is no cure. It's a progressive disease, and we all understand what the outcome will be. But greater than that, you get your aggressions out. You get to make new friends. Most people, once they're diagnosed with Parkinson's, they tend to withdraw. They don't want to be out in the public eye. Their friends, as much as they want to be a part of and help, they don't understand the disease. So again, they start to pull back. And now you've got this solitude life. What we give you is new friends. They understand what you're going through, which is awesome. You're going to see different levels of Parkinson's within the group. But there's always, if there's a question, one of them have already experienced it. Greater than that, you learn to have fun again. And, Parkinson's is not something that most people would consider, you can go out and have fun.
Sure.
But when you see these guys laughing and making fun of each other, yes, they can do that in that group.
Right.
And just enjoying life in general and learning a new skill set, that's powerful.
That's priceless.
We also have a support group for the spouses. So that was something that we just started, maybe a year ago? About a year ago. So I always say, in a marriage, if you're diagnosed with any kind of a disease, each spouse is in a storm, each spouse is in a separate rowboat, and each spouse experiences that storm a little differently.
Absolutely.
So, for the spousal support group, it's like, it's okay to be angry. I'll talk in great depth with spouses. It's okay to be angry. I'd be angry too, but you can't say that to your spouse.
Right.
You may not like your spouse today. It doesn't mean you don't love them.
Right.
But in that moment, you can be angry and say, I love you, but I don't like you.
Right.
And that's okay. So in the spousal support group, I have nothing to do with that. They discuss whatever they need to discuss, and that's their private time to just share things that you're not going to share with anyone else, including your spouse.
Right.
Which is fine. That's fair. So we're actually serving both sides of that coin, which I think is hugely important.
Absolutely. Well, how does one join the program if one wants to join?
It's a great question, too. So in order to join, the first thing I always suggest is just come and see the program in action. I can talk about this all day long, but to see it, because a lot of people hedge and say, oh, it's boxing. But if you see it in action, you see that, yeah, it is boxing based. Nobody comes in knowing what to do, but you need to see it and talk to the participants. They're going to sell this program. I don't have Parkinson's, so, it's me on one side of that coin. But when you see them share their stories, they're the ones who will sell it where you want to be part of it. So first step, come see us and just see what it's all about. If you decide at that point you're interested, then we will set you up for an assessment. I will send off to your neurologist. I need a thumbs up from them. Once I have those two elements in place, then we'll let you come and play. Now, there is a cost,
right?
And we don't, hide that. So if you're not a member at the Y, it is $100 a month. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Forgive me, I said that backwards.
If you are a member, it's $100.
Yeah, but I said if you're not a member.
Oh.
I said it backwards. I'm sorry. So if you are a member, it is $100 a month. If you are a non-member, it is $130. But we also want to share that, if it's something that is not affordable for you, we can scholarship it out. And we lost a fighter here about a year ago, and everybody kind of chipped in. And so we have a fund that is set up so that if someone can't afford it, that money that was raised
That's
in memory.
cool.
Yeah, it is
It's
very cool.
Very cool.
We can pull from that, to help pay for your program time.
That's great. I mean, that's what I like about the Y is that they actually work to make sure that you get into programs that would help you.
Yeah.
And this Parkinson program. Now, do you have to be referred by your neurologist, or can you just come in the door and then, of course, you verify things, but you don't have to
No,
be.
you do not have to, be sent by a neurologist, although we have had a few sent. send their patients to us. We've also had a few people that have been in physical therapy, and their PTs have sent them to us. So, we can get them in all different ways.
Or you could just have heard this on the radio.
Yep, which I love. We actually had somebody do that. I mean, I was shocked. He came to see us, and I asked him, I said, how did you hear about us? And he said, the radio. And you've never seen anybody so excited going, it works.
It does. It does. I think that's great. Well, I think anybody ought to at least check it out. Now, how often do you meet? How much do you have to come? Any particular schedule? Well, how does this work?
We meet 3 times a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 11 a.m. You don't have to go all 3 days, although we do suggest that is the best, the best outcome for you if you can come 3 times a week. But we have one gentleman, he still works a full-time job, so he can only come once a week. Okay, fine. He went out and bought his own speed bag, so he practices at home. I've got another gentleman, he's a farmer, so I'm not as concerned about him because he still does farm work. So he is getting a full workout,
Right.
even if he's not with us. So if it's good weather and it's calving season, we might not see him all the time.
Right.
But I know he's doing stuff on the farm.
How
So
about, do women do this program too?
Yes, they do. So it doesn't, in fact, when we first started, we had 3 women, and then one moved away, and, it's kind of ebb and tide. But we're back up to 4 women right now. So we're kind of, evening things out just a wee bit there. So, yes, women can do it as well.
That's great. That's great. Well, I think, regardless of whether you got Parkinson's or not, boxing is a great way to get some of that aggression out.
Absolutely. And what a lot of people don't realize, according to the ESPN stats, boxing is the number 1 most difficult sport out of all the sports.
Really?
Number 1.
I didn't realize that.
And then football, and then it goes down the list. But boxing is the number 1 most difficult sport in the world.
So you got to be able to, sting like a bee, and what was that? What was Muhammad Ali? He had a phrase for it.
Flutter like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Maybe something like that.
Yep. I
So,
think
yeah,
you're right.
that was,
I think that's right. Yep. I
Float
think that's
like
right,
a
Sonny.
butterfly.
Float like a butterfly.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was float.
I think it would be flutter because flutter rhymes with butter.
It's Muhammad Ali. Float.
But anyways, I just think that it's, it is difficult. And when you see boxers come together, but I think it is terrific. So if you are suffering from Parkinson, or if you know somebody who is having a tough time, maybe just has been diagnosed and is thinking, I'm just going to go sit in a corner.
Please don't. I mean, the earlier you can get into our program, the better off you're going to be. And this is what happens. A lot of times people will newly become diagnosed, and then they sit on this for several years. That's not to say that the program will still work for you, but the earlier you get in, the better the results, the longer it lasts. So please, if you've just been newly diagnosed, please come see me. Please come to the Y, because we're here to help you, and I promise you will not be disappointed.
And remember,
self-care
is the new health care. There you go. So, and that is very true for Parkinson's,
yes,
right?
It is. You have to be proactive, on this. You totally do. But I promise you'll see the magic.
I think that's terrific. Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the wee younger ones, maybe a little bit about camps and what's going to be happening on that. So you need to stay tuned. If you've got a question, don't hesitate to ask us. 864-229-7984. That's 864-229-7984. Text us, and we will try to answer your question while we're here on the air. For those of you that are watching on Facebook, we are going to listen to some music. If you're on the radio, you'll hear some commercials. So stay right with us right here on WCRS Radio. We'll be right back. right. We're right back. We're right back here. We got Jan over here training Penny. This is marvelous. I'll have to have her come back more often. Yes, just to train Penny. Yeah, so come on back. You want to be on the radio while you're at it? Train Penny. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we're having a good time here. We're back here on the radio. We're back here on Facebook Live. I am with you as well as Sunny and Jan from over there at the Y. I call them the Y girls because why? Because they have the answers. Ha, 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 ha. How's that? How's that? Okay, well, anyways, that's what I say here this afternoon. It's my show, so I can say it. All right, so we're having a good time here. We are going to be talking about camp. I mean, you know, camps are so important as we get into the summer season, and I know the Y camps always have something great going on. So, Sunny, how many weeks in summer camp are there? When does it start?
So our summer camp will actually start Monday, June 2nd. We will be offering 7 full weeks of camp, and then we will also offer 2 extended weeks for the kids that have not gone back to school yet, because, you know, not all the districts are on the same schedule.
Right.
So they don't all go back to school at the same time.
Private school is different.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we offer 2 weeks extended camp for that as well.
Extended camp. I like that.
Yes.
Yes. So, and what hours are the camps?
So you can drop off your child as early as 7 a.m., and latest pickup is 6 p.m.
So that pretty much covers the
Pretty
work
much all day.
Yeah. That's great. So, how do you sign up for summer camp?
So if you want to sign your child up for camp, we ask that you come into the facility. We have a paper registration form that we have you fill out that has all the information we need to know for your child. Spots do fill up quickly, so we ask you come in as soon as you can if you want to sign up. We close the registration for each week of camp the Friday before it starts, or if all the spots are full. So that's why we say come on in if you want your spot.
Right. So you sign up, and what does a typical day at camp look like?
So camp is filled with a lot of engaging activities, games, songs, skits, water time, and a lot more. We always start off camp with breakfast, which is provided by the school district, and then this camp staff will set up with camp opening. So they'll do some games, some songs, just to get the kids pumped up for the week. They will then split up into their groups. So we have 4 groups depending on their age. And they'll have organized activities that they'll play throughout the day, crafts that they'll do, new skills that they'll learn each week, and that up until lunch. After lunch, some of the groups will go to the pool and have water time, while the other groups continue on with their games and skills up until pickup.
Wow. Sounds like you keep them pretty busy.
We do.
We do.
we do.
I like the way she said that. We do.
We want them nice and tired.
That's right. And so does the parent. So, and are there any specialty type camps?
Yes. So we are actually offering basketball camp, dance camp, and karate camp this year as our specialty camps.
What's dance camp?
So dance camp they will be holding it, I believe, let's see here, June 23rd through the 27th, and they will be teaching a certain dance choreography for the kids throughout the week, and then at the end of the week, they'll host the parents to watch the dance that they perform.
Cool. Now, what age is the camps for?
We have camps for ages 5, so kindergarten, all the way through 8th grade. So okay. I believe 8th grade's 13, 14, if I'm right.
Right. You know, one of the things, I know it's going to look a little different this year because of the damage that occurred down there in the Pines, but I could not believe how many kids that I talked to when it was being cleaned up down there who just said, we've got to have camp at the Y. And I know for a little while it was actually questionable how it was going to happen, and y'all are making it happen, and I think that's terrific. Mm-hmm. But the camp, what it means to kids to be able to come to the YMCA camp is huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some kids never even know what it's like to be in the woods, so to speak.
Right.
And so to have that opportunity is just, it's magical.
Right.
You know, just to be in the pines, in the woods, you know, having fun. And that's what we want our kids to do. We want them off the computers, off the phones, outside.
So what, you don't have any screen time while you're at the YMCA camp? I mean,
Nope.
no screen time?
You might occasionally get a movie day if the weather's really, really bad.
Right.
You might, and by movie, we say one movie. You might get one
That's
movie.
cool. Now, what about, do you teach swimming lessons during the camps, or is it just free swim? I mean, I don't know. I just am asking.
It is free swim, so each day 2 groups will get to go swim. We do a swim test at the beginning, so they will they will get a red, a yellow, or a green band, which determines where they can swim at in the pool. So
Hey,
it's free
you
swim.
with the green band, get back over to. I understand. I see. Now, what about, though, do they teach swimming during the summer months?
They do. In fact, I believe swim lessons opened up today for you to start registering for the summer.
Okay. How important, I mean, I know I'm off script here, but how important is swimming for children and adults? But how important is swimming? I can't imagine not knowing how to swim myself, but.
So I lived on Lake Greenwood for 26 years, and I would hold my breath from Memorial Day to Labor Day because there was always going to be drownings, and it's not necessary. You know, we're offering swim lessons. We want, albeit child or adult, doesn't matter.
Right.
Everybody needs to know how to swim. You know, everybody wants to get in the lake and they want to have fun. But as a reminder, Lake Greenwood is dark water. So if you go under, finding you is
It's
not,
hard.
it's very hard. It's very difficult. So, teaching your children to swim, it matters.
And everybody likes going out on pontoon boats, by the way, and having a libation or two, adults. And, you need to be careful out there.
You do. Wear your life jacket. I'll say that. Even though it might not look cool, it'll save your life. But, we're here to help the community. We want you to know how to swim, adult or children. It does not matter, but everybody needs to know the basics, at least the basics.
Now, how young do you start teaching children? Well, how young can swim lessons be done?
I've seen infants.
Infants?
Infants,
Through parent taught, so
You
parents
know.
are in on that lesson.
Right.
But yeah, teaching infants how to go ahead and swim. So, from infant on up, we're there to help.
Do you just throw them in the water and see if they can swim? I mean, I just thought I'd ask. I saw a puppy being thrown in the water the other day, and the dog just started doing, I'm dog paddling, I'm dog paddling.
Oh my God. That poor thing. Yeah. That was a bit cruel.
I agree. Get on the mic there. It was a bit cruel. Yes, I agree. But I'm saying, we've got to have children and whatnot that know at all ages and not be afraid of the water.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, anyways, okay. So, the specialty camps, you've got a dance camp. What other specialty camps do you have, Sonny?
We have basketball camp, which will be held June 9th through the 13th, and our karate camp will be held July 14th through the 18th.
Now, how do you do the karate camp? Do you have any idea?
So we actually have, I believe it's Scott's Martial Arts coming to lead that camp.
Oh, okay. And so, are they beginner, medium, or do you know, or do they divide
I
them
believe
up?
it's all levels.
Wow. Okay. So these are really great options as far as having a good time with the camps. Now, what are do you know the dates of the special of the camps or?
So basketball camp is June 9th through the 13th. Dance camp will be June 23rd through the 27th. And karate camp will be July 14th through the 18th.
Okay. And is there a separate charge for a specialty camp?
Yes. So for the basketball camp, if the child is a member, it's $100.
Okay.
If they're not a member, it's $125. For the dance camp, if they're a member, it's $60. If they're not a member, it's $85. And for karate, if they are a member, it's $100. And if they're not a member, it's $125.
Wow. Now, how many kids can you take in the camps? I mean, overall, not to specialty, but just overall, how many kids are y'all dealing with in the summer?
Per group, I think it's 50 kids a group, and we have 4 groups.
So about 200 kids. So definitely worthwhile. And if you are working and need a place for your child, this would be the answer because there's so many activities as far as that goes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And are lunches provided for the camp?
Yes, so our school district does provide the lunches, but kids can bring their own lunch if they would like to.
Okay. So the school district provides breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And are there any specific things that children need to bring for their camping experience?
Yes, so they need to bring, let me find my actual paper that had it. Here we go. They need to bring a water bottle with their name on it because you got to hydrate every day,
Right.
all throughout the day. It's going to be hot out there. Snacks, sunscreen, bug spray, a change of clothes because they will be getting in the pool and out of the pool. Closed-toed shoes. We don't want them in flip-flops or sandals. And swim attire. So swimsuit, swim trunks, a towel, things of that nature.
So you got to come prepared.
Yes, you do.
Now, do they have any place to keep their stuff during the day, or just how's that
So
work?
they actually, on the first week of camp and each week of camp, all kids will get a camp bag that they can keep their stuff in.
Oh, okay. So, and do you register by each week that you want your child to be there?
Yes. So when you come up and fill out the form, we have it set where you mark what each weeks that you want to come, and you just set it all up. We'll set it all up for you to come out when you're ready to come.
Now, what about when you have like holidays like 4th of July and stuff like that?
So 4th of July, we will have camp that week. We will just be closed on 4th of July.
Okay.
So we wouldn't have camp on that day.
Okay. So, but other than that, you guys are going to be there doing your job, keeping them happy, healthy, and having a great time.
Yes.
All right. Are there any items that are not supposed to be brought to camp?
Yes. So we do not allow electronics.
No electronics?
No electronics.
What about a cell phone?
We try not to have those in there because those can lead to a lot of issues. If
Right.
a kid needs to make a phone call to their parent, they can ask their camp counselor and do it that way. No toys, no stuffed animals, because kids tend to fight over toys if they don't want to share.
Right.
Pokemon cards, all sorts of things that they don't need to bring. And we do not allow any nut products. So
No nuts.
no peanut butter, no almonds, anything with a nut. We do not
Okay.
allow.
Interesting. So I can't even bring my stuffed toy that gives me comfort all day long.
No.
Okay. How have you found, how long have y'all been doing camps? You've been doing them for years, haven't you?
Oh,
Years, a long way before us. So,
Right.
You know.
Yeah, so.
I had cousins who are older than me that went. So
Right. So it's a very established program, and I think it is a great place for kids. And on top of that, they're going to learn about the why, and they're going to become ingrained with all the good things that are there. Now, one of the things that always impresses me every time I hear your commercial about the variety that's at the Y is the child care while you work out. I mean, I know that doesn't have to do with camp, but still, having a place where your child can be watched over while you go work out is pretty huge, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah. I think that is great. And I have been at the Y when kids go flying into the room to just go play or do whatever. They know that's their place. Yeah. So that makes a big difference. So people are registering for camp now. People are trying to make those decisions. Now, what if somebody signs up and all of a sudden a special trip or something comes up? Can they get out of it if they say, I'm not going to be here this week? Is that a problem?
As long as they let us know the Friday before that week starts,
Right.
we can cancel it.
Okay. All right. So not really a problem if something comes up, a great trip to Disney World or something.
Yes.
Disney
Disney versus the Y?
should be at the Y.
Yeah.
They want to go see Goofy and Donald Duck. Let them.
Okay. All right. Well, this is camp time. I know. And do you sell out? I mean, specialty camps. I'm sure you can sell out of. How about just for regular camp?
Oh yes, we've had spots fill as quickly as the first week of camp. So spots for the whole summer can be gone for a whole group.
For a
So-
whole group, meaning a whole age group.
Yes.
All right. So if you are looking for a place for your child, you need to get over there to the Y and make a plan. Now, District 50 will be out, what, 1st of June, I think?
Yes.
1st of June for that 8 weeks or something, summer break that they have. So you better be making the plans. This is April Fool's Day. All right. Well, what else would y'all like to talk about with the Y? I mean, there are so many aspects to it. The programming, the everything from spin to yoga. I mean, what's the most favorite program, Sonny? What's your favorite program over there?
I would have to say I love our spin classes.
Yeah?
Nice, quick, easy. You go at your own pace. You can go as hard as the instructor, or you can go as easy as what's comfortable for you. It's a great workout for everybody.
Yeah. Jan, what's your favorite workout program at the Y?
Well, I guess it's the sculpt the sculpt program that I teach.
The Sculpt program?
So it's a weightlifting program that I teach, and I've actually taught. God bless you, little Princess Penny. I've taught this format now for probably over 25 years. So teaching started out as a program to teach women how to lift weights, and now we have men as well as women in the program. But essentially, it's going to educate you on how to lift properly, and then my programs run about 12 weeks. And then I'll change it to a new program. And so, if you're hanging with me for any length of time, you'll memorize that program and know that if you can't make my class, then you can just pop your own earbuds in, and you have a set program that you understand how to utilize. So it's a win-win, but it's about educating.
Now, how heavy weights do you use in that program?
I would say the heaviest, a lot of times we'll use free weights. The heaviest is probably 20 pounds.
Right, so it's not real heavy.
And body bars, if I use those, they go up to 27 pounds. So,
Okay.
depending on where you are, if you're new to lifting, you might only use, say, 5, 6, and 7 pound dumbbells. Others, who have been with me any length of time, they might go for those 20 pound dumbbells.
So what do you get out? What is the objective to get out of this sculpting program?
Well, one, we want to increase our bone density. As we age, our bone density is not really where it needs to be. So lifting weights is one of the best ways to increase your bone density. But also, as we age, we still want to maintain muscle mass to some degree. The more muscle mass you have, the more calories you're going to burn, which I say is a win. So it's like if you've lifted, you go home and sit down on the couch and watch television, your body's still burning calories at that point. It's still saying, oh yeah, this is amazing. I'm burning calories watching, pick your program. But
well, I'll think also too. I know I went through a lot with Jeff and cancer and this type of thing, and they always told him the better shape you're in early on, the longer you'll be able to hold out. I'll use that word, hold out. And of course, the idea was that they might find a cure for what it was. So having that muscle makes you better able to stand up to disease.
It does, and I obviously I'm not going to use this person's name, but when I was still with the hospital system at Wellness Works, I had a woman who has, she's battled breast cancer twice, lung cancer. She's outlived 2 husbands. I know, pretty phenomenal.
Right.
But with that being said, if you go back almost 25 years, she would come in and say, well, I had chemo this morning and I'm here for a spin class. She used to like my spin classes. And she said to me one day, the doctors have told me, so this is, like I said, 25 years ago, the doctors have said, please stop exercising. And I thought that was kind of like, what? And she said, I told them no. And she said, I told them that this is what's actually keeping me alive. And she might only manage 15 minutes of spin at that point, but she was still in there grinding gears. She's now in her 90s, and she's still kicking.
See?
So,
yeah, right.
Exercise is medicine. I don't care what your illness is, what your disease is. If you exercise, it'll take care of a lot of the issues. And so in her 90s, she still comes in and works out.
Absolutely.
And so I giggle. I say, I want to grow up and be just like you. If I've got to fight a disease, this is the outcome that I want.
Yeah.
So
They used to tell Jeff he was in an experimental program, and they would always told him to go home and rest after they had this, and yet he always did something, or our business demanded that he had to
Right.
do something, so he never got that. But the very fact that he was out being active did put him in better stead because it was an experimental group.
Yeah.
He outlived a lot of them in the
Yeah.
experimental group. Yep.
So I just, when people say, oh, I'm tired, and I think of this one woman, and I'm like, she was tired too, but she still gave it the best effort she had. And like I said, she's in her 90s. So
Wow.
it works.
It does.
You know.
And, we can't say enough about it as far as clearing the mind.
Oh,
and getting the cow. Now, your yoga program, that's a pretty cool program for those that are not into heavy duty
Yeah.
spin or whatever.
And I always say, yoga, it clears the static from your attic. It's the ability to stretch. You're still strengthening, to a degree, but it's the stretching and the breathing that can help in so many ways that detox the brain. It lets the body just find that happy state, which I think is a gift. So, we've got a yoga class. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 with Marcel, who is amazing. But I'm like, what a great way to wind your day down. Mm-hmm. If it's been totally chaotic, going into a nice calming, room that's darkened with candles and just go through these flows is just so rewarding. And you go home and then it's like, okay, I can take a nice hot shower, kick back, and I'm totally chill at that point.
In the zone, in the zen.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the why. I mean, Sonny, you talked about spin classes and doing all this, but there is something for everybody at the Y. And if you get tired of one class, you just change over to another.
Sure. And, sometimes I think people get stuck. They say, well, I love this instructor and I just love what they do. And it's like, try other things. We're not, I never am offended if somebody says, well, I'm going to go try another class. It's fine. As long as you choose to do something, I don't care what you pick. It's irrelevant to me. You just need to do something and move, and so if you want to pick yoga over weightlifting, that's fine. Or the Pilates reformer, or, the mobility class. There's just something there for everybody. And sometimes it's good to try something new. You might surprise yourself and go, wow, I didn't know I would enjoy this.
Exactly. And that's what I think, that your membership at the Y gives you that opportunity. Now, I understand you also do pickleball over there.
Oh, we do pickleball. Woo. Yes, we do. Yeah, there is a core group of people that just do pickleball, and they love, that they can use our double gymnasiums. We have 4 quadrants. Now, sometimes we have to say, like Rock Steady Boxing will take a quadrant, so you only get 3 quadrants. But, they have a great time. It's indoors right now. A lot of neighborhoods, depending on where you live, have pickleball courts. But, this is prime time to be outdoors. But, of course, again, if it's cold or if it's extremely hot,
or
then
if it's raining. Yes.
Raining, then being indoors and having the ability to play pickleball is something that you have the option with us as well.
Absolutely. So when you look at the Y, you need to check out all the aspects of it. Now, what's the best way for people to check out the Y?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm glad you asked that question. First of all, you can just come and ask the front desk, I'd like a tour. But if you have questions and you're saying, well, I want to ask a question like right now, you can always call 864-223-9622.
That's right. So do check out the Y. I think when you check out and you balance all the advantages to what the Y does, from the swimming, the sauna, all the programs that they have, the camps, you can't beat the price.
You can't.
You
really
cannot.
can't. If you want all the bells and whistles, come to the YMCA. We are here for our community. Our community is what makes us tick. So please utilize us, because the healthier our community is, the better we're going to be for our future.
And what's that key phrase?
Self-care is the new health care.
There you go. You've been listening right here on WCRS to the YMCA gals. We've had Sunny and Jan here this afternoon. It's always a pleasure to sit down and get updated on what's happening at the Y. Get over there if you've got kids that need to get into camp. Get over there, get that done. Be able to relax going into summer, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Jan, is there anything else you'd like to say as we close out?
No, I just everybody, please remember that, your health matters to us. That first and foremost, that is what our YMCA is about. Health for your children, health for the adults, health for our seniors. We just want everybody to be well.
Absolutely. And Sunny, what do you have to say here at the end?
I agree completely with Jan.
Okay, well, let's say it together then. Self-care is the new healthcare. You have been listening to WCRS right here in Greenwood, South Carolina. That is going to do it for us, so that'll do it. I'll be back in the morning. Tune in tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be talking with Richard Loper with the Swingin' Medallions, talking about all things Swingin' Medallions. So tune in tomorrow afternoon for that at 5 o'clock. So bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this afternoon.